Localish presents Music Land, sponsored by Qbrexa. Visit whatsyourq.com to share your story.
It sounds ridiculous, but I'm 30 and I'm only learning how to ride a bike now. Definitely a necessity in Dallas. Things are a lot more spread out. Texas almost feels like its own country in a way. People are always surprised when I tell them that I moved to Dallas from New York. And then when I explain to them the reason, then everyone's like, oh, like I understand. You know, growing up in Hong Kong and then living in New York for 10 years, it's pretty much like two of the densest places you can live. Pretty hectic all the time. Everybody's hustling, and I loved that for a long time. My life in Dallas is a lot slower. I wake up and then I just get into the lab, so to speak, and work on music and take my time. The composition process for me begins with sound. It's kind of backwards in a way from like the way a songwriter might write a song with harmony and lyrics and melody. I personally am really drawn to the imperfections, creating something that's visceral. When you put a microphone up to something and you record it, you're receiving something that's so impure. You're catching some sound from the environment, the sound resonating in a space. It's a snapshot. That moment is like never gonna happen again. The imperfections in the sound, it makes it feel alive. The process starts with the sound, and then usually that'll spark my imagination in some way, and I'll kind of start to map things onto the drums, and an environment starts to form out of that. When a sound environment starts to really click and take shape, it feels like I've built an instrument out of piecemealing a bunch of sounds together. As that kind of grows, then the musical ideas kind of come into focus. I think a lot of the times technology can get in the way and overcomplicate things, but for me, in this case, it really changed my life, actually. So these sensors are by a company called Sunhouse. It's called sensory percussion. It's essentially a technology that allows you to transform your drum kit into any kind of sample-based environment. You can teach the computer to understand different types of hits on the drums, and you can assign that to different samples. Being able to play, melodies and harmony on the drums, what it's been able to give me is just like an immense sense of freedom. The possibilities are really endless in terms of what sounds I want to use, and it opened a door for me creatively. That's a huge part of, I feel like, my musical identity is improvisation. Surprising myself. I've been in Dallas for about a year and a half. Coming out here has been like a real breath of fresh air. I think in a lot of ways, slowing down and seeking out this stillness in my life has allowed me to kind of creatively stop the sensory barrage coming from the outside. And something about being in nature, especially the more isolated you can be, things that you feel like are really important kind of melt away. I think there's a general sense of ease that I get when I'm out in nature.